Lost in a Memory sings of the dreaded midnight heartbreak. Well, that's a little dramatic, don't you think? Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Emmanuel, aka Lost in a Memory. Welcome back to the Lost in a Memory studio, or as I like to call it, I don't know, Lost Studio. Guys, today I'm gonna be doing something, a little bit more relaxed. And if you guys are music fans, or I should say, if you guys are producers or songwriters, maybe this video can be a bit helpful or just entertaining to be having in the background. But long story short, I wrote this song called Midnight Heartbreak. I wrote this song back in September or October of 2021. Right now it's 2020. I'm sorry. Yeah, back in 2020. Where the hell is it? So here's my website. Here's some of my artwork, and it's this one right here, Lost Midnight Heartbreak. There's a remix that my friend also made. I keep wanting to say Lost in a Memory. Midnight Heartbreak remix. But today we're gonna be looking at the lyrics of Midnight Heartbreak, and I'll tell you, I'll give you all the tea on what the lyrics mean. There's a twist though. As this stream or video goes on, I am gonna get increasingly drunk. Just kidding. No, not drunk, but I'm just going to have a beer. It's 2 a.m. I'm really tired. It's been a long day, but I've been testing out the system right here to be able to do these kinds of videos again, such as, Logic Pro tutorials that you guys have been enjoying on my channel that I haven't even done in like a year. So, yeah. So with that being said, cheers, and let's get started. Prepare to be broken, heartbroken. Not broken. And yeah, so the song is about a real breakup that happened between me and the girl I was dating. How long did I date her for? 3.5 years. So before we get started, let me give you just a quick background. I wrote this song right as during the breakup, basically. So maybe like a couple of weeks after the breakup. And of course, I don't know why, but like breakups usually are not just straightforward, like, hey, broken up, done. Either one person, the other person, like makes it complicated. Gotta admit, I was the one who made it complicated at first, and then the other person, blah blah blah. I'm not calling anybody out, not naming names or anything. It's just one of those things that, as an adult, you got to realize that sometimes things work, sometimes things don't work, and that's okay. But I knew I had to write a kick-ass song out of it. Otherwise, that would have been a waste of a relationship. And this is my favorite song that I've pretty much written. Hands down, it has to be the favorite one. So check this out. In your head spinning like a hurricane. I was blissfully unaware of what would become our fate. So basically, the way I frame the song, lyrically speaking, the story of the song is I'm singing to her. So let's just say, to separate ourselves a little bit, you know what? Fuck it. It's basically like a poetic version of myself singing to the person who I want to say, like the character that I'm playing in this song, because there are a lot of exaggerations, like not everything in the song is factual, just like how it's very common for, let's say, a rapper to exaggerate like how much money they have in their songs, or how many girls they hook up with, or whatever, stereotype. There is quite a bit of, not a lot, but some exaggeration, and I will call it out. But basically, the framing is, this is basically kind of like me writing a letter to her, and obviously this is, reminiscing about the relationship, and after the relationship, kind of going through the stages of grief, the sad, the denial, the anger, the what do you call it? Bargaining. So it was a night like any other, but the doubts in your head spinning like a hurricane. I forget if it's a metaphor or a simile. I think it's a metaphor. Feel free to correct me, English majors. But yeah, it gives you that visual.
my heart, my soul, my mind to you. I take a bullet to the brain if it meant you'd be okay. I fight till my last breath, even till the bitter end.
So this is very exaggerated for the sake of, when you're going through a breakup, and I'm sure like a lot of you that have gone through it, which is probably like 99% of you, will agree, especially after a long-term relationship, whether it's like losing a loved one, going through a breakup, whatever. All these emotions just elevate themselves to 10, For example, like, let's say a friend of mine, right, breaks up with this girl and he's like, oh, like that was the last, like that's my soulmate, like how am I gonna live, how am I gonna survive? And obviously I would say, dude, like there's plenty of fish in the sea, you'll get over her eventually, get over it. But when you're in it, it feels like the end of the world. So that's where these lyrics come from. I gave my heart, my soul, my mind to you.
My soul, my mind to you. I take a bullet to
This,
the
I take a bullet to the brain. That is a very dark lyric, and I wanted to convey that sense of despair, that immediate despair from that happens, right after the breakup. And it's a little kind of like reference and nod to Bruno Mars's song Grenade, where he's like, I'd catch a grenade for you. He's take a bullet straight to the brain. Sorry, I'm a little sleepy right now, but yeah. So how he says, I take a bullet straight to the brain. This is a reference to that.
Okay. I fight till my last breath, even till the bitter end. I thought you'd be my happily ever
By the way,
after.
and I know some of you are gonna be like, dude, stop freaking pausing the video. Well, guess what, punk? This is what an analysis is. I think. I don't know. But the background visuals, by the way, I filmed them. I took my camera out at night and filmed, since it was around, I filmed in this place called Nob Hill here in Albuquerque. And it's just basically filming out of focus, filming a bunch of lights out of focus. So you'll see traffic and lights. This was at a shop right here. So these are lights at a shop out of focus. So just so you can get a background on what the visuals are.
Destined for each other through the good times and the bad times, honey.
So notice how I'm still framing it as in the beginning, ooh, baby. It was a night like any other, still calling her, hey, baby. And right here, honey, like, so basically the guy. And here's where I'll separate myself a little bit. Here's where, like the... obviously, these are real emotions that I went through, but also I was writing in the sense of like it's a character. So this is where my character is still in denial that, still calling her baby, honey. Like it's still like that we can still save this. So still in the denial phase. See?
It was a night like any other. You told me your love for me was gone and gave yourself to someone else.
So this is where I do gotta admit that's a little bit too savage, and of course, no regrets. Like it is a song that I wrote based on what I was feeling then, and that is not to justify whether it was right or wrong. Again, I didn't call out any names or, but basically we're still framing the song as, we're still framing it as I'm talking. Like it's a conversation, it's intimate, it's me and you, and I'm saying you gave yourself to somebody else. In this situation, and of course, like without giving too many details, out of respect to, the other person or the relationship or whatever, like it was a very quick transition, going from, let's say, from me to this somebody else that I'm, referring to in the song. In fact, I'd say it was kind of like a crossfade into it. Anyways, here's the chorus. So here's something very vulnerable about this song. Obviously, when you go through grief, sometimes you do need help. You need your support group, your friends, therapy, whatever it may be. Here, my character, let's just... for simplicity's sake, I'm asking her for help. Like, how fucked up is that? I'd say it's normal, but still, basically, even after all the stuff that went on, you can based on the first verse and how it ended, the last line, you gave yourself to someone else, you can kind of figure out what happened, right? So it's kind of fucked up that my character, me, in this situation, I'm asking her, like, hey, help me get through this midnight heartbreak. Basically, like, at the moment I was thinking, I can't get through it without you. Why? Because in a relationship, generally speaking, you tend to get addicted to your person. So here's my character, here's me, still addicted to that person, denying that I'm addicted, but like admitting that subconsciously or even consciously, like, hey, I need your help. That's fucked up. So the original lyric here was, you were the best part of me. But even as I was writing the song, because I knew, like, I'm like, I need to capture this moment, even if in the future I'm going to be like, dude, like, why were you so dramatic? Or like, dude, that's cringy. But I was like, I don't care. Like, I'm going to, write and be vulnerable. But even this lyric, you were the best part of me, I'm like, no, I have to change this, because like at the moment when I was writing this song, I didn't have a lot of love for myself during that whole relationship, to be completely honest. Going more into like the emotional side, I didn't really have enough love for myself. But as I was writing this song, I was, I talked to a therapist, like 1 or 2 sessions. It wasn't that many. But then I realized, like, I kind of went through this depression. But then I realized, dude, like, how have I gone through, the past few years of my life without actually loving myself? Like, I loved this person, but not me. So was it real love? Let's see what happens when I start loving myself. So here I was barely taking the first few steps into the journey of loving myself. So that's why I changed the lyric from "you were the best part of me" to "I thought you were the best part of me." You'll notice right here I have a few tabs open. There are references. I reference a few other songs in this song. So best part, I referenced the song "Best Part" by Daniel Caesar. It was a song that one of my friends showed me, and then I don't know if I dedicated it to the person who I sang Midnight Heartbreak about, or I honestly can't remember. Pretty sure I dedicated it to her. But yeah, that's the reference that I make in the lyric. I thought you were the best part of me. Oh, and by the way, this is an article that Buzz Music wrote. I paid for this shit, but I didn't pay him to write. Like to write good shit. I'm like, they have a package where, like, it's for marketing and all that, and they interview you and all that. So I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. Let's see if it helps with marketing. They're really awesome people. If you have a song, I would highly recommend, hit them up. Did it help my marketing? Not really, but it was a cool experience. And if you want to read that interview, just go to their website. All the years that we spent are replaying in my head. I'm trying to explain how it all could fade away. So I'm going to stop it here again. So this is very common, after a long, like sometimes you stay in a long-term relationship, because you feel like all these years that I spent here are going to be wasted if I just leave, and that's not the right mentality. If I can give some uncalled for advice, even if, let's say, you've been with the person 10 years and it's not working out and it's just affecting your mental health, dude, like, you can walk away. And 10 years, yeah, that's a long time, but you can always restart, and you'd be surprised, and I tell you from experience. So that's what I was going through here. I was like, after 3.5 years, like, how could it have gone to shit? Well, it was always shit. The relationship was never good. She was not good for me, and I don't think I was good for her either. So it goes both ways, Fade Away, that's a reference to my song, Fade Away, Where Are You? Right there. That was the first song I ever released. So just a subtle reference to my song, Fade Away. Fade away. Ooh, baby, how could you trade our love for someone else? You drove a knife into my back and cyanide into my heart. I wish your love for me was strong enough to bring you back. So here's a fucked up feeling that I was going through, and a lot of people that break up with their significant other go through. And so obviously, based on these lyrics, and obviously they're super exaggerated, but it is a feeling that I felt like I was backstabbed. um like, how could you trade what we've built for somebody else? And these lyrics are a little too savage, but whatever. You drove a knife into my back and cyanide into my heart. So that's basically, like, I'm saying, like, hey, you did the worst thing that you could possibly do to a person. Again, exaggerating. But then it comes back to, I wish your love for me was strong enough to bring you back. Like, you still, like, you sometimes, even if when a person hurts you really bad, you still want them back. And it's just the weirdest thing. Like, as us as humans, we're hardwired in such a weird way that we're willing to embrace and take more pain if it means, keeping the status quo.
I trade all my tomorrows for one yesterday.
Here's where it gets a little too, like, personal, and like, I apologize, just in the off chance that this person is, like, watching this video. But we sang a song together called Just One Yesterday by Fall Out Boy. It was a song. It was a video on YouTube. I don't think it's up there anymore. But it was a song that I associated with us. So it has this lyric. Then if heaven's grief brings hell's rain, then I trade all my tomorrows for just one yesterday. So I referenced that lyric without the just. So I trade all my tomorrows for one yesterday. I skipped the just. And yeah, so that's what I was referencing. So that's where it gets a little personal.
So I can save our future.
Future Days is another song that I was listening to by the end of our relationship. It was Future Days by Pearl Jam. And it has this very, I think, interesting lyric where it's like, if I ever were to lose you, I'd surely lose myself. And I, thinking that I was in love with her or whatever, I told her, like, hey, these lyrics remind me of you. But, like, looking back on it, like, it's kind of fucked up, like, to really think. And, like, even in my current relationship, which is, obviously it's not perfect, but it's definitely amazing. It's an amazing relationship. I always tell my current girlfriend, I tell her, and I didn't mean current as in, like, oh, this is this girlfriend's right now and who knows what's no, I meant, like, who I am with at the moment of recording this video, my girlfriend. I tell her, like, hey, like, what's very important to me in this relationship is that we love ourselves first of all, like, so that I put myself first, that she can put herself first. And like, obviously, like, you want it to work, obviously, but you got to be realistic. There is always that chance that it might not. And then I would tell her, because sometimes she'd tell me, like, my girlfriend right now, she tells me sometimes, and like, sometimes I would even tell her back, that, like, oh, I don't know what I would do without you. And when she says that to me, I tell her, you'd be fine. If obviously, like, yeah, we would go through, a lot of sadness, there'd be a lot of emptiness, but as long as you love yourself, you're gonna be okay. Which is why I say it's fucked up, this lyric, like, if I ever were to lose you, I'd surely lose myself. Like, no, dude. Again, more uncalled for, preachy advice. You got to love yourself first. No matter what, no matter how much you love your partner, you can never lose yourself over anybody. So inspirational, huh?
Love you till we're old and gray.
This lyric is bullshit.
With your name attached to it.
I did not have a ring with her name attached to it.
Dreams about our children's names. Still you threw it all away. Can you help me take away?
So that lyric is more like, I'd say, like, that drop the mic moment. It was very savage. And, like I said, at the moment, I was going through a lot of, emotions. I definitely could have held back a little bit more on that. But then again, now, currently, like, sometimes, I'll put an Eminem song, and that guy does not hold back for shit. So thinking about, like, how people like Eminem can literally just say what they have to say and still be poetic about it. I think even, like, this song is, like, still, like, definitely very tame, but very savage at the same time. So The line dreams about our children's names. Yeah, like I actually had dreams, like about having kids. Obviously, since I was with her at the time, the dreams, presumably were about having children with her. But like in hindsight, and even then, like I was in denial, where like I was like, I was like, oh yeah, like someday we're gonna be married, someday we're gonna have kids. But if you listen to my song False Promises, which I released a few months after this one, the intro lyric is, I held you like a time bomb in my hands. I secretly hoped that it wouldn't last. And honestly, like that's true. Like I was very comfortable in the relationship, but the whole time I really didn't want to be in a relationship. But I didn't have the strength, or if you want to call me out on it, I didn't have the balls to just end it and walk away and don't not waste as much time. But then again, a lot of lessons were learned. So like Tony Stark says in Avengers Endgame, things are gonna work out the way they're supposed to. I was walking backwards I was walking into that hallway in the background, and I played it backwards. So the song is in C major, but it revolves around the F major 7 chord. Here, after going through that chorus, that very aggressive chorus with the F major 7th, A minor 7th, C major 7th, etc., we come into like this moment of like clarity. So the song plays an F chord right here, and it goes into a G, signifying like like a little bit of like calm after all that aggression. So there's calm here, clarity, and here's a major progression.
Even when I close my eyes, I still see you there. In my dreams, you still haunt me.
So the chord progression becomes very romantic. It becomes very romantic. It goes into C, C major 7th, A minor, G, F, and then back to G. So it's it's a descending chord progression, but it's very uplifting. So it's kind of a fake out. So here you think that my character, obviously like the bridge is meant to signify clarity in my song, but you think that me writing this song is about to fall in love again with her, about to start again. But then hold on, like we got this very uplifting, I'd say, musical part, but then I'm being very vulnerable in the sense that I'm referencing alcohol here. Now it goes into a minor progression, and it goes into anger basically, and clarity, back to the clarity. So I think this is the most honest part of the song. So let's break down each lyric. This part right here, broken I have tried to drown every ounce of pain. So here's where I'll be vulnerable, and obviously like as a man, as a proud Mexican man, and by proud I mean, I have a lot of pride. Like it's hard to admit when when I fuck up, or when I'm vulnerable, or when I'm in a dark place. Here during like after this breakup, during this, what the song is talking about, like I have tried to drown every ounce of pain. I did fall into a bit of drinking a lot, like to kind of numb the pain, which is obviously not the right way to do it, because like as much as you numb it, you got to go through the pain. As much as you try to sidestep through it, you're still gonna go through it. So just get it over with. But I did go through. I drank. I tried. Unfortunately, which not to blame, or but one of my friends did offer some kind of drug that I had never tried. I don't do drugs. I've never done drugs. I mean, I have smoked weed here and there. But yeah, so I tried this drug, and it was just scary because like it felt good. So I try to numb that pain with all that, and that's when I realized, dude, like snap out of this. Like no person is worth. Excuse me, I just burped. No person is worth fucking up your body like that, or your mind, or putting yourself in danger. So yeah, that was kind of my thing, like, so 3 things basically. Drinking a lot. I tried drugs twice actually during that time, and slept with a bunch of girls. And obviously, like, yeah, like, hooking up with girls, it was, like, it kind of helped pick up my ego. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of emptiness, so nothing, like, whatever. Enough. So yeah, then we go into this minor progression. So this was the redeeming part of the song, whereas in the earlier choruses, like I was like basically like, hey, very vulnerable, can you help me take away this midnight heartbreak, to now being like, hey, like now I'm gonna pick up these pieces on my own, like you broke my heart, like that was the thing, which again, never my soul. It's a little cheesy, definitely on the nose, but it was my way of redeeming me from being like too, in Spanish we call it mandilon, basically begging the girl. I'll pick up the pieces, rebuild on my own. I'm learning to love. This was absolutely true. But scared to move on. Our story is over, but mine's just begun. So again, a very vulnerable lyric. I'm learning to love me, but scared to move on. Obviously, like, yeah, like I had no choice. Actually, I did have a choice. I could have kept numbing the pain with drugs, alcohol, girls, a bunch of girls, but I chose to, obviously, I went through that, but I chose to learn to love myself, and our story was over, mine's just begun. And absolutely true, it was all uphill from there. I apologize for those sounds in the background. My dog kind of has like breathing problems. He's good, don't worry. Sometimes he just needs to cough it out. So now, obviously, like I wanted to keep the melody, the chorus, the midnight heartbreak. But now it's like, instead of taking away the midnight heartbreak, it's like, can you help me understand this? And at this point, like, can you help me? It's not so much directed to her, but like now it's directed to whoever you think it will be directed to, as a listener. So it could be her, it could be yourself, it could be some kind of religious deity. That's up to you to figure that out. Or I was lazy and kept the same lyric, who knows. But now there's that clarity. Instead of like taking away the pain, the heartbreak, now it's about understanding it. That was not a good explanation, huh? Self-explanatory. Right there, I was driving my car. In the background, can you see that? So this part of the song is meant to kind of flash back the whole thing, the whole experience. At the end, our story is over, just to reiterate that point. So, like I was planning on making a music video for this song. And I could still do it, but, like my idea of the music video back then, it was going to be really petty, So even then I knew, I'm like, I could make this and it'll be an awesome music video, but it would come from a place of pettiness. So I decided not to. But my friend Fox Division, aka Christian, aka Fox Division, he did a remix of this song, and we did make a music video for that one. Same lyrics, different vibe. We filmed this video in his garage. I took my fog machine, a few lights. We set up a little keyboard, and honestly, like, it looks pretty cool. My friend Jonathan filmed the video for us, and I produced it, edited it. This video was a bitch to edit. I think it's available in 4K. Yeah, 4K. I might sing this version of Midnight Heartbreak on April 4th. I have a gig that's lost in a memory. But yeah, guys, that's basically it. Let's see, what else can I say about Midnight Heartbreak? I sang it live acoustically. This was very nerve-wracking, this gig. It was
You were the best part of me.
You can hear how shaky my voice is.
Playing in my head. I'm trying to explain how it all could fade away. Ooh, baby, how could you trade a love for someone else? You drove a knife into my back and cyanide into my heart.
Let's see the chord.
Save my future. Away. Can you help me take away this midnight?
That chorus is hard. This was April of last year, April 2021. Ever since then, I've been practicing, so now I can actually hit those high notes with the distortion that I did in the studio version.
Even when I close my eyes, I still see you.
This was a family place right here, so did I say the F word? Let's see.
Of pain, but it still fucking kills me. You broke my heart, but never my soul.
Look at my vein on my neck.
It's
all sticking out. That happens when I sing with a lot of intensity.
Our story is over, but might just begun. Can you?
So, anyways, that's enough. Self-indulgence. Yeah, Midnight Heartbreak to this day, I'd say it is my favorite song that I've produced. I think it's very catchy. You know, from a music fan, artist, music producer, sometimes I do play this song just to vibe to it, just to listen to it. Obviously, like, I'm very far separated from the feeling that I had while writing the song. I'm glad that I wrote it at the time that I wrote it, because if I had waited and, you know, let's say like, maybe 3-4 months after the breakup or whatever, like, if I would have written about it, there was no way I was going to come up with something like this. I'm very proud of this song. It's still my favorite song that I've done. And that's it. So, yeah, I don't know if anybody's watching this or anything, but if you are, thank you so much. Next video I'll do a breakdown of the Logic Pro session for this song, basically going over all the instruments. There was so many instruments, such as, you know, clean guitars, distorted guitars, synthesizers, electric pianos, keyboards, the drums, bass, and a lot of different vocals, a lot of harmonies. So I'll go over that in a future video. But until then, guys, thank you so very much. Once again, I'm Emmanuel from Lost in a Memory, and I'll talk to you guys later. As the Canadians would say, peace out.